Who are you? Get off my bike! Please, just get off!
Everyone says death is horrific. But do you know what is more horrific than death? A mind that refuses to accept that it is dead. If you watch this video, you will understand why I am saying this.
Nitin, who was fed up with sitting continuously in front of a computer screen for 5 days a week at an IT company in Bengaluru, loved nothing more than hopping on his bike and going on a long ride towards Mangaluru whenever the weekend arrived. That Friday night, he started his journey towards the outskirts of Bengaluru. By the time he crossed the traffic, Nitin was physically completely exhausted. But as soon as he hit the highway, he forgot all his fatigue and twisted the bike's accelerator hard. By the time he reached Hassan, thick dark clouds covered the highway sky and the atmosphere turned ominous. The first cool drops of the monsoon rain began to fall on his helmet visor. Thinking that it would be difficult if the rain poured heavier, and in a hurry to reach the Ghats before the rain intensified, at around 11:30 p.m. at night, the green arrow mark on his mobile's Google Maps directed him to turn onto a narrow bypass road by the side of the highway. Assuming there might be some issue on the main road, Nitin, without thinking twice, rode his bike towards that dark road. Just 5 minutes after turning onto that pitch-dark road, Nitin felt as though something strange had changed in the surrounding atmosphere. The song playing in the Bluetooth earphone in his ear suddenly cut off completely with a harsh sound. The network signal on his mobile went away completely. The GPS got stuck in one place. There wasn't even a single street lamp on the entire road. Only the tall eucalyptus trees on the sides of the road were swaying in the wind. Those trees seemed as if they were welcoming him into the depths of the darkness. As he moved farther away from the highway, the darkness grew even deeper. The cold, foggy wind penetrating inside his helmet sent a terrifying shiver down Nitin's spine. Except for the bike's engine sound on the road, there was no other noise in the entire forest. As he went forward like that for about 5 kilometers in the headlight's beam, he saw a person on the left side of the road wearing a black helmet, standing next to a broken-down bike, asking for a lift. Thinking that someone was trapped in trouble in such a dark forest,
Sir, my bike chain broke. There is no network on my phone. Just 2 kilometers ahead, there is a small garage in the village. Please, will you give me a drop till there?
Nitin tried to look at the face inside his helmet. But since that glass was completely dark, nothing was visible. Because of the darkness all around, Nitin didn't know what to think. Even so, feeling pity, he nodded. Okay. Nitin nodded his head and gestured for him to sit behind on the bike. As soon as that stranger slowly came close and sat on the bike, Nitin felt as if the entire bike's temperature suddenly plunged to -degrees. A cold wind, like intense fog, hit Nitin's back. Without him realizing it, goosebumps broke out all over his body. The bike was moving forward again on that dark path. To break that eerie silence all around, Nitin slowly started talking.
What's your name, sir? Where are you coming from?
Ha, Rajesh.
That person's dry voice was so terrifying that Nitin got goosebumps all over his body. Feeling suspicious, Nitin slowly looked at the person behind him in the bike's rearview mirror, the side glass mirror. Rajesh, who was sitting behind, had bent his head completely to one side in a bizarre way and was staring directly at Nitin's neck. Soaked completely in sweat out of fear, Nitin twisted the bike's accelerator hard and increased the speed, desperate to escape from that place quickly. However, even after completing the 2 kilometers he mentioned and passing 5 kilometers, no village or garage was visible on the road.
Where is the garage? I think we're lost. I'm stopping the bike. Please, just get off.
But no response came from the person sitting behind. Only his breathing speeded up, and an ice-cold breath hit Nitin's neck. Suddenly, Nitin felt some wet liquid flowing on the back of his jacket. Panic-stricken, thinking it might be raining, he looked up, only to see the moon clearly visible in the sky. While riding the bike, he stretched his left hand backward and touched his back. A sticky, thick liquid got onto his fingers. When he looked at his hand, under the dim light of the handlebar, he realized it was blood. Nitin's heart began to beat furiously. In mortal terror, he forcibly squeezed the brake handle tightly. But to his shock, the entire brake lever was jammed like a stone. No matter how much force he applied, the brakes wouldn't engage at all. Even when he turned off the engine key, the bike did not stop and kept running on its own at a monstrous speed through that darkness.
Who are you? Get off my bike! Please, just get off!
At that moment, the helmet visor of the figure sitting behind opened completely.
You still haven't recognized me. You haven't recognized me. You haven't recognized me.
Unable to bear that horrific sight, Nitin lost control and fell off the moving bike onto the road in absolute panic. But when Nitin fell onto the road and looked, the figure sitting behind was not there at all. It had vanished into thin air. Groaning in pain, Nitin somehow mustered the courage to stand up and picked up his mobile, which had fallen on the ground. Because he had fallen on the road's sharp stones, his leg was severely injured. Even in that intense pain, he struggled, dragging his leg to walk through that darkness. Desperate to save his life, he began running barefoot toward the highway until he was breathless. After running about a kilometer, he saw the headlights of a truck and the main highway in the distance. Thinking his life was saved, Nitin ran over and collapsed in front of a small tea shop on the side of the highway. When the old man at the shop immediately ran over, gave water, and tended to Nitin, Nitin described the entire ordeal he had faced while shivering uncontrollably. Looking at Nitin with deep pity, the old man began to reveal the horrific truth about that road.
Oh, my child. Just this evening, a gruesome accident took place on that exact bypass road. A lorry smashed into a software guy, and despite wearing a helmet, he died on the spot.
Hearing those words, Nitin got goosebumps all over his body. Shivering in fear, he realized that what he had seen was the soul of that dead boy.
Yes, grandfather. When he opened his helmet visor, there was nothing inside.
The ID card of the boy who met with the accident came in the police group. Take a look. Is this the same guy?
The moment Nitin looked at that photo, his entire world came to a standstill, because the face in that photo belonged to none other than Nitin himself. On that ID card, the name written was indeed Nitin. For Nitin, who believed he was alive, seeing his own photograph made it feel as though the world had stopped moving. In reality, Nitin was merely living under the illusion that he was alive. He wasn't alive at all. According to scientific fact, even after the body becomes inactive due to a heart attack or severe trauma, the human brain remains active for a few minutes. When oxygen supply to the brain drops during these final minutes, a person experiences intense hallucination. The moment Nitin turned onto that bypass road, a horrific accident had taken place. But his brain, unable to accept that extreme shock, had hallucinated this entire sequence of events. Him riding the bike, someone asking for a lift, him running over and collapsing in front of the shop. All of this was merely a horrific hallucination Nitin created in those final 7 minutes. That faceless, terrifying figure sitting behind him was none other than a true representation of his own lifeless body lying on the road. In that final second, when his brain comprehended the bitter truth that he was no longer alive, the surrounding tea shop and the old man all dissolved into thin air. At last, Nitin's brain completely accepted the bitter truth that he was no longer alive. Viewers, the illusions created by our brain and mind in the darkness are so real that it becomes impossible to tell what is reality and what is imagination. Be careful when you travel in the dark. See you again.